Guess what? I'm back. You remember how I said like there's a Goldilocks zone when you are drinking, which hits you just right, so you have enough focus to do the things you like, but also enough self-control so you don't do anything damaging to yourself. Well, I or you don't say anything stupid or embarrass yourself. So I think I'm way past that. um, Let me just check if my stream is working. Sorry. I'm way past that. Yeah, I'm a bit drunk. So, but I want to finish all of these. All of these tabs that I have opened. I think it's a good test of self-control of whether you can do this on time or not. So I also have some YouTube videos that I want to watch. I still not read some article, watch some videos. I think I already did this. I think it is quite good. So let's do this. When Earth had rings. So let's see what this is all about. First thing I notice, a lot of are these ads? No, they are not ads. They are other articles. Oh fuck. Nautilus. I mean, it's a kind of site I'd like, but oh, it seems like a really interesting site. Let me just store it somewhere. It seems so ad-ridden. I'm sorry. Sean Raymond. Let's see. Planetary rings may be one of space's many spectacles, but in our solar system, they are a dime a dozen. While Saturn's rings are the brightest and most extensive, Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune have them too. What? I thought only Jupiter had them. Saturn has rings? No, I mean only Saturn and Jupiter have them. What is the surface of Saturn and Jupiter? So you have also Jupiter. How Jupiter and Uranus? Uranus. And Neptune have them too. Man, I had so much energy, so much love for space exploration when I was younger. Now I don't know if I'm only drunk or what it is, but it's so amazing thinking about this. And like trying to imagine the sheer scale of it or even the conditions on different planets. But that's not the point of this stream. The point is when Earth had rings. What's more, 4 icy minor planets that orbit among or beyond our gas giants also host. For example, I haven't heard about these ones. Chariklo? How do you say this? Chariklo is the largest confirmed centaur. So it's a smaller solar system body that orbits the sun between Jupiter and Neptune and crosses the orbits of one or more of the giant planets. So it's a minor planet. So it's the purple guy. It doesn't have a So it doesn't have a circular. What? How do you call this? What do you call this? Now, I have two things to note here. The first one is Chariklo is named after the nymph Chariklo, which is like of Greek origin, and I find it really interesting that even if at some point, uh, civilization ceases to exist and culture ceases to exist, you'll still have remains of the. I mean, you will have a lot of remains of Greek culture. So it has rings. Okay, minor planets. So various visited minor planets and their diversity. Pluto. Oh yeah, I forgot. My man, it's not a planet anymore. Why are you not a planet, brother? I mean, these are just asteroid-looking structures, but Ceres? Okay, let me go back to what I was doing initially. What is the surface of Saturn and Jupiter? So the surface of Saturn and Jupiter quite different from the terrestrial planets like Earth, as both of these planets are gas giants without solid, well-defined surfaces. Now, this is something that I like broke my mind for a period of time. Like how like it's these things are massive. Like these things are more massive than Earth. Uh, Earth versus Saturn versus Jupiter size. I want only the size. So this is the Earth. I think this is Saturn, and this is Jupiter. So look at the size of these things, and they are all gas. Like there's no solids in them. Fuck. So it lacks a solid surface. So Saturn likes a solid surface. What we think of as the surface is actually the visible cloud tops made of ammonia crystals and water ice. If you descend through the atmosphere, it gradually becomes denser and hotter, eventually transitioning into a layer of liquid hydrogen, followed by metallic hydrogen deeper inside. And Jupiter is made of hydrogen and helium. They don't have a solid surface. So it's the top of its thick atmosphere. So, fuck. Thank God I'm not high. I'm only drunk now. I mean, I'm not even drunk. In my heyday, I could drink a lot. So now I'm only a bit tipsy. But these are mind-blowing information here. Why landing on Jupiter or Saturn is impossible? So they have no solid surface. Intense pressure and heat. So they have turbulent atmospheres. Okay, so how do they keep themselves together, man? So Saturn. No, I didn't. What I wanted to see, I wanted to see. Yeah, the Galileo probe of Jupiter. Are there any images there? No, this is not a real image. Okay. Okay. So basically, gravity keeps them together. Both Saturn and Jupiter have enormous mass, which generates immense gravitational force. Magnetic field, so gravity pulls everything inward, internal pressure balances gravity, rapid rotation creates centrifugal forces. Okay. Let's go back to the Earth rings article. So rings are likely the dwindling remains of shredded asteroids or comets. And when you think about the turbulence Earth experienced around 500 million years ago, the reality of a bygone ring system around Earth seems less far-fetched. About 466 billion years ago, which is nothing, long before the dinosaurs. Researchers have identified 21 impact craters from this spike, with sizes between a few and 50 fucking kilometers in diameter. And sedimentary rocks from this period show a huge increase in the concentration of elements associated with a specific group of meteorites called L chondrites. How do you say this? I don't want to even try. So some scientists claim that you can account for the craziness of the Ordovician period if Earth had a system of rings that it captured from an asteroid. And if it went through one ringed phase, there's a good chance that it went through several. So there's a new way of thinking about the history of the Earth. So he based these findings on craters during the Ordovician impact strike. Okay. I find myself perhaps irrationally quite irked that the picture headlining the article uses a picture of current Earth with rings when Earth's surface 500 million years ago looked much different. The paper itself does have a map. Okay. Nice opening image, but what would be the view like from Earth? Wow. Let me see. I hope it's cool. It must be cool. Amazing. Cheers to this. Oh, this is actually quite interesting. There's an asteroid will fly near Earth in 2029, and it might break into pieces and might create a ring belt around it. Okay, cool. I like this. So what's the next article? Why make software? Why make software? If you want to leave a lasting legacy, some durable remnant of your brief existence that will ripple forward into the future and leave an imprint on hearts and minds of future generations, you might be wise to dedicate your life to pursuits other than the creation of software. Writing, painting, architecture, scientific research, building a business perhaps. If you're talented, dedicated, and lucky, all are more likely to get your name in the history books and solidify a legacy more than making software. That's depressed, but on a long enough scale of history, all of us will be forgotten at one time or another. Even like I don't know who. I think the most famous person in history right now is Adolf Hitler. But and he's so infamous that you won't find a discussion online or in the real world that sooner or later won't be based around him or won't mention him. But at the same time, give or take a long enough period, I think I don't think he will be forgotten, but he will move more and more into obscureness until he's just a footnote in history books. You want to leave? Okay, software is what means this? Ephemeral. Lasting for a very short time. Ephemeral. It's actually a quite nice word. It is building sandcastles in the air, forever shifting, changing, eroding. The lifespan of most software is at best a few years to a decade, and much of what endures is constantly evolving, built, and maintained by teams of humans who remain forever hidden to the end user. A rotating cast of otherwise invisible programmers who come and go. So it's a battle with entropy, and it has nothing to do with the nature of software itself and everything to do with supporting socio-technological systems. With the right storage medium, code can persist in stasis nearly indefinitely. Dependencies change or become deprecated, and remote APIs start responding with 405s. Operating systems update, CPU architectures change, or are no longer manufactured. So it's so frustrating. It's so existentially futile. Why do we do this? Why do we make software? So why do we do this? So we have altruistic or virtuous reasons, and a lot of people work in crafts or occupations that involve the production of ephemeral goods, cooking, for instance, and everyone comes to the practice of software making for reasons of their own. Some for the joys of making something useful, some for the technical challenges, some for the endless series of intellectual puzzles, some for the money. But software is also a lever for shifting human thought and behavior. In their book Understanding Computers and Cognitions, Terry Winograd and Fernando Flores write, we encounter the deep questions of design when we recognize that in designing tools, we are designing ways of being. I think about this quite a lot, about how the design of a tool unlocks new human capabilities, and how about changes in our capabilities influence how we both how we see and how we act in the world. So this is why the author makes software. He wants to help bring new ways of being in the world, however small, new ways to think, new ways to create, new ways to share ideas with others. The code will fall into disuse and disrepair, and it will be lost to the darkest pits of Git revision history. What may remain, what has the slightest shred of being carried forward, are the small ideas that code is embodied ideas that I hope will be part of the great conversation of what it means to be human long after I'm gone. So I'm trying to think about this because this whole article is coming from a deeply personal, I think, deeply fundamentally existential source of understanding. It basically tries to explain why you make something that lasts so shortly if you want to leave an imprint on the world. But as I said, given long enough time, like every famous or infamous person will be lost to the history. And I don't think that anyone can survive this. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know. It's an interesting question to ask. Like, why do you do this? In the end, I do this because I need something to. I need something to prove to myself that I'm worthy of existence in a sense. Currently I'm working in a company that does OSINT, and it's quite, in my opinion, it's quite it's an altruistic charge. It almost feels like you are doing the world a favor by doing OSINT. I mean, OSINT is the service of finding criminals and bad actors in the world. So I always feel good that I'm here for like 2 years, and I plan to stay. I don't know, for a certain time period more. But my point being is that I feel good helping people, and I feel good writing code that helps people, because I'm almost 3 years in this company, because before that I didn't stay long at most companies that I've been in. And I think my boredom came from the fact that I wasn't doing anything interesting in these job roles. So I think people like to help others, and especially people like to help others if they are getting paid for it, and especially if they are getting paid well for it, and especially if they are doing a decent or good job, which I think I am doing. So I like my job right now. It's not, I don't know, it's not something to, I'm not beating the world. I'm not leaving a long-lasting imprint, even though I would want to leave a long-lasting imprint. I would love to do something that would keep me in memory of humans after I'm gone for like at least 100 years, let's say. But I like this, and I'm so happy that I'm working here. Okay, enough bullshitting. This argument is framed as cautioning against the disappointment caused by awareness of the impermanence of one's work. Perhaps the author is not aware that all man's work are vain. Basically, I said this as well. Maybe not as good as Minimax here, but I did say something similar. I'm also relatively drunk, so I don't personally have psychological need to build things that outlast me. That's why I have children for. But I mean, that's the point. I don't have a psychological need to build things that outlast me. I have children for. What if someone needs to find something that will outlast him? You know, for you, my friend, it's children, but for other people, it might be different things. Everyone wants to last even after they are gone. I think everyone. I also do it mainly to make a living. I agree with you, friend. But it was basic fascination and or wizard stuff that set me on this path. Captain, it's only Tuesday. Ah! Because it makes me feel like a wizard. My smartphone can do more than what they teach at Hogwarts. This lifespan of most software is at best a few years to a decade. Now, this is an interesting point because someone answered this is a narrow view of software limited to web services which require active maintenance. Software that is complete, like embedded system games or certain libraries or tools, lasts far longer than that. Of course, games. Shit, yeah, games. No, I like this. I like this article. I like the discussion that it started. I like this. It's a really good article. And fuck, why can't I log in here? I want to make an article on lobsters, the C22 edition of Modern Sea. Ah, so it's a book. It's a book. I mean, I have already a book that I'm learning C from. Cognitive load. When should I use string versus pointer to a string? First of all, what this is this Rust? As soon as I saw fn main, I know that this isn't C or C++. It's not even Java. It's not C sharp. What the fuck is this language? Rust. Yeah, it's Rust. No, I'm not interested in Rust. Sorry. Alt plausible plot, but major SQLite WebAssembly. Okay, let's do this. As I have two articles left, I closed some of them. I have two of them left, so let's read through them and wow, now this is really cool. I like this. Minds.md. The author wishes to remain anonymous. So cognitive load. There are so many buzzwords and best practices out there. But let's focus on something more fundamental. What matters is the amount of confusion developers feel when going through the code. Confusion costs time and money, and confusion is caused by high cognitive load. Since we spend far more time reading and understanding code and writing it, you should constantly ask yourself whether we are embedding excessive cognitive load into our code. So what's cognitive load? It's how much a developer needs to think in order to complete a task. So when reading code, you put things like values of variables, control flow logic, and call sequences into your head. The average person can hold roughly 4 such chunks in working memory. How is this calculated? And also, why is this why is this on GitHub? Okay, so it's the same article here. Okay. Once the cognitive load reaches this threshold, it becomes much harder to understand things, which is true. Our brains are not omnipotent in a sense. Our brains are just there. Let's say we have been asked to make some fixes to a completely unfamiliar project. We were told that a really smart developer had contributed to it. Lots of cool architectures, fancy libraries, and trendy technologies were used. In other words, the author has created a high cognitive load for us. Oh, fuck me. And we should reduce the cognitive load in our projects as much. Okay. This is actually something I want to talk about, but let me just hit the toilet again, and I'm coming back. And I'm back. So let me just check if because I muted my mic. I just want to make sure I just want to make sure I'm still being heard. I am. So basically, what I want to say that cognitive load is a common phenomenon that I notice for myself. Sometimes when working on complex tasks, I would notice myself carrying so much information that some information becomes, I don't know, they fight between each other in order to be at the forefront of whatever I'm doing. So yeah, we should reduce the cognitive load in our projects as much as possible. So there are types of cognitive load: intrinsic and why not intrinsic and extrinsic? So there is the difficulty of the task and the way the information is presented. greatly reduced. Oh, so what do we have? We have also examples here. So we will refer to the level cognitive loads as following: fresh working memory, zero cognitive load. Okay, so our brain is much more complex and unexplored, but we can go with this simplistic model. So complex conditionals. Oh man, I wrote a lot of this in my early days. A lot of these if blocks. Introduce intermediate variables. Okay, so this is how we have to solve this. So we can introduce some intermediate variables with meaningful names, like this, and then we have this, which is like really good. It really simplifies the condition immensely. Then we have nested ifs. Have early returns. Yeah, this makes actually, yeah, this is a lot better. We can focus on the happy path. Next we have inheritance nightmare. We are asked to change a few things for admin users. So we have our admin controller, which extends the user controller, which extends the which extends the bit. Okay. So part of the functionality is in base controller. Okay, so we have one plus. I think the plus is the cognitive load. So then we have something in the guest controller, so we increase the cognitive load. Then we have something in the user controller, so we again increase the cognitive load, and admin controller, so we increase it again. So then we have the super user controller. Preferred composition overhead as we want to go into detail. There is plenty of material out there. Too many small methods, classes, or modules. Mantras like methods should be shorter than 50 lines of code, or classes should be small, turned out to be somewhat longer. So who showed this? Bob Martin, I think. Having too many shallow modules can make it difficult to understand the projects. I agree. Not only do we have to keep in mind each module responsibilities, but also all their interactions to understand the purpose of a shallow module. We first need to look at the functionality of all the related modules. Of course. Methods should be shorter than 50 lines. It's definitely Bob Martin, right? Let me ask my man, my friend. Is this a mantra by Bob Martin? Yeah. It's clean code and a clean coder. Small focus methods are easier to read, understand, and maintain. What he didn't know is that now you can nest 10 methods inside each other and increase the complexity to enormous levels. Short methods promote reusability and reduce duplication, of course, as long as you have a small project. Yeah. Having too many shallow modules can make it difficult to understand the project. We also need to, this is something that I don't see mentioned a lot. It's the fact that there's a lot of interaction between modules. It's not only a module or a function or whatever being left there. More often than not, this module, this small structure in our code will be reused, will be manipulated, will be called there. You will have stuff extracted from it. You will get return values from it and stuff like that. So it's, it's we don't create it only for small things. More often than not, they are becoming more and more complex. To understand the purpose of a shallow module, we first need to look at the functionality of all the related modules. Information hiding is paramount, and we don't hide as much complexity in shallow modules. I have two pet projects, both of them are somewhat 5k lines of code. How much is the... How much is the Lisp language? Well, it's 800 lines. But it's 800 lines of pure code. Like, there are no libraries that do linting or stuff like that. It's only pure code that I've written. Okay, 800 lines. 5k lines of code. The first one has 80 shallow classes, where the second one has 7 deep classes. I haven't been maintaining any of these projects for 1.5 years. Once I came back, I realized that it was extremely difficult to untangle all the interactions. Of course, man. Of course. Like, no one mentions this. I would have to rebuild an enormous amount of cognitive load before I could start coding. On the other hand, I was able to grasp the second project quickly because it only has a few deep classes with a simple interface. The best components are those that provide powerful functionality that have simple interface. So the interface of the Unix output is very simple. It has only 5 basic calls. Modern implementation has hundreds of thousands of lines of code, lots of complexity sitting under the hood. What else do we have? Shallow modules and SRP. All too often we end up creating lots of shallow modules for following some vague. A module should only be responsible for one and only one thing principle. What is this blurry one thing? Oh god. Sorry for the stop. I'm just drinking whether I have more beers in my fridge. No, I don't. Any wine? No. Ah, damn it. Instantiating an object is one thing, so this factory seems to be just fine. Factory, okay. Jumping between such shallow components is also mentally exhausting. Linear thinking is more natural to us humans. We make changes to our systems to satisfy our users and stakeholders. We are responsible to them. A module should be responsible to one and only one user or stakeholder. By the way, I went to this has been uttered by Uncle Bob, and actually I went to a conference in which Uncle Bob was a speaker. I even had the opportunity to talk with him after the conference. So, I mean, he's a fun guy. He's an interesting guy. He's really, how do you say it? He has a lot of aura, around him. But at the same time, I think, he's not the key holder to software development, and he doesn't prophetize what we should do, and in the end, how you code should be based on whatever the philosophy of coding is in your company and the way to make it optimized and better for everyone involved and everyone who works, and especially the people who are just coming to to the company or to the project. I think on their backs, you actually see and understand how easy and how good your code base is. Yeah, we have the single responsibility principle. If you introduce a bug in one place and then two different business people come to complain, we violated the principle. Too many shallow microservices. I mean, feature rich languages. Wait, thoughts from an engineer with 20 years of C++ experience. I haven't read a single article about the language since last summer and I feel great. I've been using C++ for 20 years now. When did came out? It's an 80 something, 85. And C is like in 70 something, right? 72. 72, yeah. Okay. I've been using C++ for 20 years. That's almost 2/3 of my life. Two-thirds. Wait. I'm like calculating. I feel like in Office there's an episode in which Pan gets. I think they need to lose some kind of weight. It's company wide, and the Scranton branch, of course, all of them step on the scale, and there's Pan coming after them. So someone says the full weight, so they're trying to calculate how much is Pan, how much Pan weights. So two-thirds of my life, it's 20 years. Wait, I've been using C. Am I too drunk to calculate this? I've been using C++ for 20 years for now. That's almost two-thirds of my life. How can I calculate this? And why am I so obsessed? Why am I so obsessed about this? I'm not obsessed about how much age does the author have. I'm trying to calculate this. 20 years. Am I stupid? No, fuck. I don't want. No, I wanted to ask you, uh, how old should I be? uh, I've been. Yeah. Now this is the thing that made me confused. There's no way someone was coding in C since they were 10. I immediately calculated and then 30, and then I realized like, it doesn't make sense. Maybe he's 60 or something. Okay, I don't. Sorry, I'm just playing dumb right now. I've been using C++ for 20 years now. That's almost two-thirds of my life. Most of my experience lies in dealing with the dark code. Can you imagine the token or has a different meaning and requires and in requires? I have no idea what this means, so I'm just gonna skip it. Tight coupling with the framework. Okay. Cognitive load. Tailwind feels dirty, but we consistently find ourselves more productive with it. Styles are not spread across bunch of. So wait. Tailwind. Tailwind was a style library that deals with classes instead of custom styles in the CSS files, right? So you have built-in classes, and most probably you can extend those built-in classes with your own, right? I assume. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I switched my screen. Hey, Egi. I'm right. I'm actually a front-end developer, and I'm mostly using front-end technology, but I have a series on my channel in which I'm writing my own Lisp implementation of a language. I'm actually following a book by fuck, I forgot the author's name, but it's called Build Your Own Lisp. It's basically an introduction. It's both an introduction book in C, but also a pretty complex one that brings you to speed in C. So what I want to do is I want to clear my mind of all the front-end clutter that I have and improve it with whatever low-level language logic I can learn in my late 20s and early 30s. So yeah, sorry for the late answer. I didn't see your message there. Tailwind, yeah. Styles are not spread across. One can do what they come to do here. Styles are pretty interesting. I used to write a lot of complex animations on my first job and a lot of complex elements on my first job. And I realized that you only need these edge styles when you need them. Everything else you can create reusable classes for them, and just reuse them and at one point or another, unless you are writing I don't know, a roller coaster web page that has these wild elements on it, most of these classes will be reused. And if you have a good designer, most of these classes will be definitely reused. So yeah, styles are not spread across a bunch of files with other concerns. One can do what they come to do here. There's no blah blah blah. Okay. So I need to close this. All possible plots by major authors. What's this? So I'm gonna end my stream right now, and at one point I even had 3 concurrent viewers. So thank you. You wasted your time with me, but thank you. I wanted to say regarding Cormac McCarthy, like the things I read from him, and I read The Road, I read The Blood Meridian, I read No Country for Old Men, I read Cormac, I read what's the name of this? I think mentally ill guy that attacks people and I think assaults sexually. Not Sutra. Oh, I read All the Pretty Horses. This is actually a pretty good one. I think it's pretty underrated. Child of God. Yeah. Oh fuck, I read a lot of books from him. He's amazing. Like amazing. So with this I'm gonna end. If you haven't read Cormac McCarthy, please do. and I'm ending my stream after 2 hours of it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for, I don't know, coming in here, seeing what I do for 10-15 seconds, and seeing, even if you say this is not for me, in the end, I'm just trying to learn myself, and if I can become better at what I do, and if I can, learn more, maybe I can create videos in the future that could also help you as well. So thank you, and see you some